Alright, what is going on everybody on YouTube? Griffin here coming back to you guys, move the camera a little bit. Griffin coming back to you guys with another live stream from the Millennial Motivation Entrepreneur YouTube channel. First and foremost, if you're tuning in for the first time, either live or after the video uploads, we'd love to have you here for future streams. Definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below, hit the bell icon right beside it. That way you'll be notified every time we go live or upload another video. If you're tuning in for the first time, we tend to do these 2 to 3 times a week. Every Sunday we have a stream where we just kind of take a look at the broader markets for the week, just give you guys kind of my input on the market. And of course, if you guys have any questions or ticker symbols, anything like that in regards to the market, I always have the chat pulled up there for you guys. And then once or twice a week, we do kind of these just middle of the week updates. I try to do it by Wednesday usually, and then Thursday or Friday or sometimes Monday as well. We'll have kind of another video, just like a teaching moment, so to speak, just for newer traders, because I know a lot of you guys that are tuning in for the first time are brand new to the markets, and just trying to teach you guys things that I didn't know when I got in, and just learning. There's a huge learning curve in this and many mistakes that I've made, and I just want to try to make you guys just see that these certain things are not the way you want to trade. A lot of YouTubers will tell you if you do this, this, and this, you're going to just triple your account every couple weeks, blah, blah, blah. It's just nonsense. Slow and steady always wins the race. But just try to show you guys just my mistakes, what goes into my thought process with my trades, be it with futures, leveraged ETFs, options, anything that I'm trading essentially. So we definitely love to have you here for those future videos and future streams, of course. And before we get going, I just want to make sure that our stream quality is doing okay. It looks like we are up and going, so I will get the show on the road. So just an overall market update today, because I know I haven't done one yet this week. So we'll just go ahead and take a look at my current positions. They're not really looking too good at the moment, and I'll go ahead and just open it up so you can see my total portfolio. We're still doing very well overall. You can see overall profit loss year to date is now over $300. We paid a total of about $3 to $4 in commission, so even after that, still up over $300 year to date. And of course, we've only been using Thinkorswim now for just over a month. Actually, I think it's like 5 weeks to the date, because it was a Thursday whenever I put all the money in. So just over 5 weeks, we're up over $300 with a $1,500 portfolio. So when we just kind of break it down, $307 divided by a $1,500 portfolio, that means we're up just over 20%, 20 to 20.5%. In just over 5 weeks. So we're not even just over, dead on 5 weeks. So we're up about 4% per week. So I will take that every day. If I can somehow do 4% every single week, oh man, I'll take that for sure. Do I expect that? No. I will be upfront with you guys. I do not expect to do 4% on average pretty much every week consistently. It's just, I'm in a pretty decent groove right now. I have some trades right now. Like I said, they're not really looking too good. Holding just one share of TQQQ, up a couple bucks, nothing major. Holding quite a few shares, not quite a few, but a little 40 share position of SQQQ. That's what's down the most at the moment. So we were up actually quite a bit more on the week before this SQQQ trade. If I just held my TQQ all week, I'd be up a lot so far this week. But I wasn't expecting the market to pretty much just go straight up this week as it's been going, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. We still got our 2-day trades left. We did use one today, covering a few dollars of profit within TQQQ, and I left one just as a runner in case if we just continue to go up, I might add to it tomorrow. Just depends. I'm honestly expecting a red day finally, possibly tomorrow. But yeah, you can see overall what we did on the day. Bought 3 shares, sold 2, about $2, not quite, but close to $2 of profit per share. So kind of a waste of a day trade, but I just wanted to cover the profit because we're really starting to look a little overextended in my opinion. Our 1 hour chart is now overbought once again. Every time we hit overbought, we tend to see a pretty decent pullback overall. You can see, how's it going there? Joe, how's it going? That's awesome. I'm assuming talking about the profits. Yeah, I appreciate that. and you're doing pretty well too. I believe you're in our Discord group chat. You've been doing pretty well too as of late. Which, by the way, if you're tuning in for the first time, we also have a Discord group chat. It's down in the description box. It's totally free. We don't charge for anything over here. What I would suggest doing is going to Discord, either online or through the app. Create a profile. Super easy to do. It takes like 2 minutes. And then hit the link in the description box that says join our Discord group, and it'll take you right to the group. We now have like 170 members in there, so it's awesome to see that continue to grow as well. But back to the point of where we go over bot on our RSI. It's not like a major indicator, but every time this starts to get overstretched, we definitely start to see a decent pullback. Not to say we couldn't go up a little bit more potentially. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we do a little bit overnight. However, I think by the end of tomorrow or maybe even Monday, we'll definitely start to pull back a little bit, just because, again, when you look back at just every time that we go over bot, you see at least some sort of a little pullback. You can continue to go up short term, but then as you can see, pull back quite a bit. And then again, we pulled back for a few days, went up, pulled back quite a bit for a couple days again when we had that couple day stretch. I think it was last week, if I recall, where we dropped a couple percentage points on the NASDAQ in about 2 or 3 days. And now, again, we had a little bit, zoom in here on the last couple days. You can see here we got overbought and then we fell down. Not a lot necessarily, but about, 200 points roughly on the NASDAQ. So, say, hypothetically, not that's going to happen, say we just drop 200 to 300 points from here, that would still put us roughly right around 8,800 on the NASDAQ. So you're talking about, probably 88 to 8,900. So you're talking about just barely a little bit of breaching that lower Bollinger Band on your 1 hour chart. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't even need it to drop. I don't even think I need it to drop that much, honestly. From where we're at right now, I need it to drop about 2.5% to 3%. So if we say from where we're pretty much at right now, down, let's call it 2.5%. 2.5% would put us at 89.59. And if we drop 3%, where I'd be decently in the profit, I'd be in pretty good profit on SQQQ at that point. If we go as low as I believe we should go, which is right around 88.25, about a 3.5% to 4% drop from where we're at right now on the NASDAQ in the next week, then that'd be about a 12 to 15% move for my SQQQ position, which again, if we go back and look at that, let's see. Yeah, I'm in it at 1164. It's currently at 1091. So if we do 1091, and that's as of 7 p.m. when it closed up, of course. If we take that times 15%, 163 plus 1091. You're talking about 1254, and I am in it. And honestly, my target sell is 1250. But say I only get 1250 out of it, so that's 4 to 5 cents less than what I'm predicting. Let's say I get 1250 average per share. That'd be what, 36, and we'll just say 35 since it's half. We'll say 35 plus 50 is what, about 85 cents per share times 40 shares. Oops, I did that wrong. I was like, there ain't no way. 85 cents times 40 shares is about $34. So, I mean, not a major profit or anything. But again, it's only 40 shares on something that costs about $11 to $12 a share. So it's a pretty small position, guys. It's only like I think $400, something like that position. So you got to keep in perspective. I think the exact price, 11.65 times 40. So yeah, $466. So say I can squeeze out even $30. Let's say I can just squeeze out a $30 profit on that, divided by 466. is a 6.4% return. So I mean, if I can get that, like I said, guys, if you can consistently, like I said, over the last 5 weeks, I've done just over 4% week after week on average. Essentially, I've had weeks where I didn't move a lot, and then I've had weeks where I get $50 to $100. But overall, I've averaged just over 4% per week. So if I can do another trade that's around 5 to 10%, I'll take that all day. It doesn't work out literally day to day. No, my strategy at the moment doing the leverage ETFs, because I'm in the busy season at my job, I can't necessarily be looking at it 24/7. I'm just looking to kind of get in at what I think is a good price. And if I need to average down a little bit, which is what I've done with the SQQQ position, then that's what I'll do. Honestly, if we continue for some ungodly reason, go up some more tomorrow, then I'll probably buy another 5 or 10 shares, but that'll probably be it for that position. I don't like to get more than 50 shares of pretty much anything. That's just me personally. But, I mean, we'll see what happens. So my target profit's pretty much around 5 to 6%. If I can squeeze this 6.4% out, that'll be fine. But it's a $466 position. If I can even squeeze out 5%, that's still another $23 to $25 added to the portfolio. And then at that point, what I'll do is I'll switch my focus over to TQQQ. I'll take all that profit. I'll take the position, all that, plus whatever cash I have, put quite a bit in. I tend to bet more heavy on TQQQ than SQQQ, just because, of course, me personally, I'm always bullish on the market longer term. So I'm willing to put more money into the market, specifically the NASDAQ, because I don't believe the NASDAQ, as it's proven already, it's not going to get hit as hard from the coronavirus. I mean, it's mostly all technology stocks. I mean, you got your Facebooks, your Netflix, all that stuff. They're booming right now in this type of economy. So I expect NASDAQ to outperform S&P 500, especially the Dow 30, over the next year. So I am more opt to put in, say, $1,000 position on TQQQ than I am an SQQQ position. SQQQ, I tend to only put at the most about a $500 position on, where TQQQ, I've had as much as a $1,300 position on. That's just me. It's what's worked out for me the best. Like my profit loss on TQQQ is about, I think, 6x when my profit loss year to date is on SQQQ. I pretty much use it as just a hedge against the market, in all honesty. Just when I think the market's kind of overbought, as you can see, I'll take, like I said, pretty small position, and then we'll just kind of see what happens. As it drops, I'll load up more TQQQ. I'll even take a slight loss if I have to, just to make sure that I get in at a good price on TQQQ, because I don't want to get in or hold it too long and then potentially lose some profit there. So I don't know. It's just kind of my trading style. Like I said, this is what's worked for me. I've been doing this pretty much the last month now. We did some UDAO. We haven't done UDAO or SDAO in a while, or SPXL and SPXS, which if you're kind of new to the markets and whatnot. So what happens is we'll kind of zoom out here to we're on the 20 day, so we'll just zoom out. So when we're talking about TQQQ, SQQQ, all that, you guys that are new might be wondering what those are. So you have the NASDAQ here, /NQ, and then you have what's called TQQQ, which is obviously 3X. It's a leverage ETF, so whatever the NASDAQ moves, this tends to move 3 times that price. And then you have SQQQ, of course, which moves about 3 times in the opposite direction of wherever the market, the NASDAQ specifically, is going. Same thing with SPXL. It moves hand in hand with ES, just 3X. And then obviously you have SPXS, which moves 3 times in the opposite direction. Same thing with UDAO, moves 3X of the Dow Jones, and then SDAO is, again, 3 times the opposite. So just a little crash course there for the newer people that'll be tuning in and all that good stuff for you guys. So, but yeah, I mean, overall, when we go back and just look at the monitor again real quick, you can see, I mean, overall my net liquidity is up to 1805, which means I'm up again right around 305. Like I said, after fees and commissions, $305. year to date. Sorry about that. These allergies, man. I wish allergy season would be over already. But up $305 in the first 5 weeks. I'll take that for sure. If I had a larger account, again, guys, it's all about keeping things in perspective. Don't want to hit on this too much, but I cannot stress it enough. Like when you're new to trading stocks and whatnot, do not try shooting for the moon and doubling your money every week, every month. It's just not going to happen. But when you keep it in perspective, where like me, I'm up $305 on a $1,500 account in the last 5 weeks. That's 20.3%. Again, divide that by 5 weeks. So that's just over 4%, like I mentioned a little bit ago. 4% per week. Now, again, if you've got, say, a $500 account, this is what you could expect on a week-to-week, realistic. And honestly, like I said, do I expect to do 4% a week? No. If I can maintain that, awesome. I'll dig it up. But honestly, my expectation is somewhere around 1 to 2% per week over a year. Not just 1 month, not just 2 months, over a period of a year. I'm shooting for about 1 to 2%. So I'm outperforming what I would expect by 2x essentially. But again, I'll take it. If I can do it, you guys can do it. I mean, like I said, I got a full-time job. It's busy season where I'm at right now. I can't really focus on it 24/7. I focus on it as heavy as I can, especially in the after-hours trading. But I kind of have to look for swing trade setups, essentially. I use the 1 hour chart a lot. 1 hour and 4 hour chart are what I tend to use the most personally when it comes to swing trading. And I'll talk about that in future streams as well as in this one in a little bit. But so just shoot for a percentage, guys, because again, like my rule of thumb right now, since I've been doing 4% a week, I'm just showing you the math based on 4%. So $500 account, you're looking at $20 essentially per week, so $80 a month. Now, again, as obviously the more money you put in, the more higher return you're going to see. 4% a week on 10 grand, that's $400. So you multiply that times 4 weeks, that's $1,600 a month. If you can do 4% every single week, and that doesn't include the compound effect where when you started out at the beginning of the month, you had $10,000. Well, after the second week, if you made your $400, now you have $10,400. Now, let's say you can somehow manage to squeak out 4% again. Now you have 416. So you can see how the compound effect really starts to just turn your account into a snowball, essentially. The longer you continue to compound it by 0.5% here, 1% there, 4% here, those trades just slowly add up and your account just starts to turn into this huge snowball. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Every trade you do, every week, your account just continues to grow. And man, I feel like I'm losing my voice. I sure hope I'm not. I'm sorry if I sound brutal. But yeah, I cannot stress that enough, guys. Do not shoot for, I got a $500, I got a $1,000 account, I'm going to become a full-time day trader. It's not going to happen. Can it happen long term? Sure. If you just stick to the basics and say, you know what, I'm up 1%, I'm up 5%, I'm up for sure 10, 15%, I'm going to cover my profit, look for another good trade setup, and just continue to do that. That's why I love the leverage ETFs, especially for those of you that are newer, because most of you, you're like me, you're like most of our other guys in our group chats and everything. We all got full-time jobs. We can't sit here and literally day trade second by second. But as long as you look for good quality setups, like when we look at TQQQ, would I invest in this right now? Not really, other than to hedge my SQQQ position, like I said. But when I look at everything here, the only thing that intrigues me is we broke out and made a new high recently. So longer term, like I said, I do like TQQQ longer term because obviously we're always bullish on the market long term. If you're not, just go look at a 100 chart and that'll make you bullish real quick. But in the short term, when we look at everything, you can see we're just starting to kind of look a little overstretched. Last time our DMI was this low. You can see here, we had a little bit of a drop. Again, not a major drop, but we still had a drop. We had a little cross action going. We were kind of messy here for a little bit. I don't use the DMI quite as much. I use that more for day trading, like futures and whatnot. I tend to use the sentiment oscillator. MACD and RSI the most when I'm looking at my swing trades. The ones I pay the most attention to is the RSI, followed by the MACD, and then I take a look at the Bollinger Bands, and then the oscillator. The DMI, that's more so for day trading, in all honesty. But the first one, first and foremost, I'll take a look at the RSI, because once that thing gets over 70, you're definitely like pretty overstretched. We're sitting at 73.6 right now. So we could go a little higher. Usually the highest I've ever seen this is like 90. We can see way back here a couple weeks ago, almost a month ago, we were around 81, 82. Like I said, I've seen it at 90 before. So could it go higher? For sure. And I wouldn't be surprised if this ain't even hit $75 overnight. But like I said, in the shorter term, like in the next week, I see this thing pulling back probably at the minimum to the $70 to $67 range. At that point, it's a little bit more attractive to me. It will pull back probably at least somewhere in that $6 to $10 range, depending on how high this goes overnight, of course. But looking for a good little $6 to $10 pullback. I mean, you're talking about 10% roughly overall, which would be about a 3%, 3 to 4% pullback for the NASDAQ as a whole, which is kind of what I'm looking for, in all honesty. Just because, again, we're pretty overstretched. We did have a decent pullback, which gave us room to make this new high. I'm not predicting us to like come back down to like the $62 to $63 range. I think for the NASDAQ, that'd be equivalent to that 8800 level. But honestly, I'm thinking more, now that I'm really considering it, I'm thinking more of that 89 level, somewhere around 89 to 89.25. That would bring us down, just ballparking here, like I said, right around that $65 to $67 price range. So again, that's just my own 2 cents on it. You can see here we have just officially hit the upper Bollinger Band on the 1 hour chart. It'll be interesting to see. Usually whenever we hit the upper band or the lower band, that's when it's usually also a good sign. One, that it's obviously going to keep probably pushing to the upside in the longer term, but in the medium term, a lot of times when you hit that upper band or lower band, you're going to move to the opposite way, at least for a little bit. You can see, don't want to zoom in, you can see right here we rode along it early in the pre-market. We did drop for a little bit, but then that 20 SMA, which is our neutral line, the 20 SMA, you can see we just rode right along it. It's been acting as a pretty solid support this week, in all honesty. Going back to when we had the pullback, you can see we popped above it, and we've just kind of been riding along it all week, essentially. So I think at some point it's going to give, it's going to break, and we're probably going to pull back, like I said. Bare minimum, I'm thinking is 69, 68, but I would really, really like to see this between that $65 to $67 price range. So what would that mean like for our SQQQ position? Just the opposite, essentially. So what I'd be looking for here on this one is roughly, like I said, I personally was shooting for like 1250. The more and more that I kind of look at it, like I said, I was expecting it whenever I got in the trade, but as we continue to slide down, I'm not really expecting quite 1250. Like I said, I'm shooting for somewhere around like 4 to 5%, and I'm in at like 65 if I recall, 1165. If I can get even just 4%, let's say I get 4%, that would be 46.6 plus 11.65. So that'd be about 12, 11, we'll just call it. So if it could come back up to 12, so the Bollinger Band's going to be somewhere around 11.75 to $12. So yeah, that'll be pretty close. That $12 mark's going to be kind of an area to watch. We're going to have quite a bit of resistance, probably around that 11.70, 11.75. If that's the case, if it looks like it's going to get rejected around that level, I will be barely up on that position. I'll probably, what would I be up, like 5 cents, 5 to 10 cents on that position. The bearish positions never seem to work out too well for me, in all honesty. Like I said, I tend to do much better on those bullish bets, but 0.05 times 40 shares. That's going to be a very small profit. Yikes. If, like I said, if worst case scenario, we find a lot of resistance around that area, which is possible. And if that's the case, I'll just wipe the trade clean. No commissions or anything, of course, with stocks. So if nothing else, I'll at least make my $20 to $30 back, maybe squeeze out a couple dollars. And at that point, I will have been going long on TQQQ as well, averaging into that position, and then I'll just ride TQQQ back up, because if I can get in around my price target, which, like I said, is around absolute most $70 is what I'm wanting to pay for this. But say I can get in at $68, I want to ride this thing back up to 75. That's $7. I would probably take a $1,000 position at an average price of, like I said, let's just say I take an average price of $69. So let's just say I have 15 shares, and if I can get $7 profit out of 15 shares, then that's $105 divided by what I say was around $1,000 position, 10 to 10.5%. So the bullish bets are where I personally make the most of my profits. Those of you that follow me in our Discord group chat know that to be fact. I don't really make, like I said earlier in the stream, SQQQQ. It's just more of a hedge, and a lot of times it goes south. I'm only up like $30 to $50 year to date, where on TQQQ I'm up like 130, 150 so far year to date trading that. And again, when I say year to date, we haven't been on Thinkorswim the whole year. We've been on Thinkorswim for 5 weeks on a $1,500 account. So up pretty well on TQQQ overall. Up well on both, but of the two, TQQQ is where I tend to make the most of my money. SQQQQ does nothing but stress me the fuck out, honestly, more times than not. Tend to get a position that I don't like more times than not. Usually end up breaking even or just making a few dollars per trade, but it all adds up at the end of the day. So I just cannot stress enough to those of you that are just starting out, just continue to think about percentages. Just have a percentage set in your mind month to month, week, more so than month to month, week to week, because a month is a long time in a trading window. Think about it in terms of week to week. Say, you know what, this week, like say you're starting out fresh, you've done some paper trading for a while, and you're saying, you know what, I'm going to put $500 in my portfolio, which I know is what most of you do. So let's say you have your $500 account. Say, you know what, this week I'm just going to shoot for 2%. So again, keep in mind your 2%, that's only going to make you about $10. So again, I don't want you to get caught up in this $10. I want you caught up in this 2%, because again, you got to keep it big picture. You're going to continue to invest in your account over time as you prove to yourself, of course, that you're a profitable trader. So say you started out with that piddly little $10, but then over time, that $10 just continued to roll. You started putting $100 a month or $500 a month over time into your account. And then say someday you've got yourself a little $25,000 portfolio that now you can day trade stocks, do your futures, do whatever you're doing. And say you're still doing your mindset of, you know what, this week I'm going in for 2%. Well, your 2% just made you $500. Multiply that times 4 weeks. You just made $2,000 on your portfolio. And that's possible. Like I said, that's actually my goal for a year on my week-to-week average. If over a 52-week period I can do 2%, I will be ecstatic with that personally. Like I said, right now, me personally, up 4%. So if you manage to do that for a month, like what I've done, that means you do $10,000 a week on average. Multiply that times 4 weeks, you just grew your account $40,000. Did I do that math right? I don't think that's right. 25,000. I don't think that's right. I think I did 0.4 instead of 0.4. Yeah, that's right. $1,000. That makes more sense. I was like, there's no way your account almost doubled in 4 weeks. Yeah, so $1,000 times 4 weeks. You just grew your account by $4,000, or if that at that point you're using it as kind of a residual income or something, you just made $4,000 on the month. That's more than what a lot of people make at their jobs anymore, especially since 1 in 5 people are now unemployed. So again, when you're starting with this little $500 or this little $1,000, it's hard to keep it in perspective when you see, man, I only did 4%. That's $40. You have to keep it in perspective. Cannot stress that enough to you guys. How's it going there, Philip? And like I said, I apologize if my voice sounds like a dead horse. I feel like I'm losing my voice. I don't know if it's allergies or what the hell's going on, but man, it is kicking my ass tonight. But how's it going there, Philip? Good evening. But like I was saying, guys, I've been saying this the whole stream, and I will literally just keep beating it over your all's heads until you guys, especially you newer traders, get it. Because so many people hop in trying to trade high-risk options. I was a victim of it myself. Go back through my stock market streams. There are so many streams and so many videos in the stock market lesson playlist where honestly, I thought I had a good thing going because I had quite a few actually, good lucky trades where I got 100%, 20%, 50%, like really good trades on just stupid weekly options that are just literally lottery tickets. If the market is super overstretched or super oversold, it's not a bad idea to maybe just throw a little bit of money in one of those options because you can potentially for sure double or triple your money, but don't look to that as your main trading strategy because you will fail. You need to just go in every week with the mindset of a certain percentage. Just take a look at the broader market every Sunday. That's why we do these Sunday stock watches, stock talk things that we do every Sunday. Is we just take a look at the broader market. That way we can set expectations. Like this week, I was like, man, the market could go either way. It could go up or down. It's going to be a tough trading week. So my goal for this week was 1%, honestly. I was thinking to myself, I was like, if I can do 1% this week, I'll be happy. I don't know what I've done, actually, because I honestly can't remember. I'll have to go back and look at my stream from Sunday to see where this number was, but I feel like I'm up about $90 this week. I don't know that to be fact. Like I said, I'll have to go back and look at the Sunday stream, but if I'm up $90 or maybe even $100, like I think I am, because I'm thinking my account was around like 1710 or something like that. So if it was around 1710 or 1720, whatever it was, then I'm up over 5% already this week. So I mean, I've crushed my goal. But like I said, you just got to set goals and then just go after them. I just seen your message. Let's see here. Just watch your video about SPY option scalping. I've been looking at this. So it's funny you mentioned that because I was just kind of talking about that a little bit. So, yeah. So with those, I mean, now I haven't looked at the SPY option prices. I think they've finally come down a little bit. Back about a month or two ago, the option prices were just absolutely insane. The only way I would have traded options, which is the only thing that I did with SPY, is vertical spreads, where I'm saying as long as the stock stays below X, I make money. As long as it stays above X, I make money, etc., etc. Just because those option prices were ridiculous. I just collected credit essentially on my option trades. Actually just did one about a week ago. It made us like 6% profit or something like that. Just a little trade just to keep my hands in the game with options. But honestly, with the scalping, if you're going to go with scalping SPY options, I would rather you look more into the futures market. It does take a lot more money. I would suggest you look into the micro futures. I don't know how familiar you are with like the futures market and whatnot, Philip, but there's a lot less risk than there is with options. With options, you have not just I need the stock to move in my position, but I need it to move quick, and because I have theta, I've got there's all those Greeks that are working against you. Where with futures, it's just simply up or down. So I mean, if I think that we'll just hop over to ES because that's the one that we tend to play with the most. Say I'm thinking right now, ES is starting to get overbought. I'm going to go ahead and go short, which I'm not saying to do so at this moment. But say I'm looking for a quick little scalp, then I'm just simply saying, you know what, if it goes down 5 points, I'm going to make 5 points times, in this case, since we're talking about ES, $50. It's more calculated risk where you can actually do easy calculations and know this is what I'm risking, this is what I'm looking for profit, et cetera, et cetera. It takes a lot of brain power out of it, in all honesty. Still very hard to do. I don't want to make futures look easy by any means, but you'll have a higher success rate than you will scalping the options. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Same here, actually. I'm just slowly building my account up. I will be trading the micro futures before long. I want to get my account up to where I can trade two or three micro ES contracts before I go back into trading futures again, just because when you're able to trade multiple contracts, it gives you more options, more strategy with trading futures. And then long term, I definitely want to trade the ES. But yeah, I've been paper trading them myself. On the ES, we're actually up like $19,000 year to date. Paper trading those, and that's just 1 to 2 contracts at a time. And then with the micro ES, we haven't played it quite as much, but with that one, we're also up, I think, a couple $1,000s year to date doing that as well. Again, it is paper trading, so we kind of got to take it with a grain of salt, not as much psychology involved with it. I try to think of it as real of a trade as possible, but obviously when it comes to your real money, there's always that little bit of sweaty fingertip factor that's hard to just duplicate with paper trades. But yeah, I definitely suggest doing those. And then, like I said, my opinion on options is the only options I personally trade anymore are just vertical credit spreads. So, like I said, it just pretty much means if we go take a look at SPY, for example, like right now, going into tomorrow, and I might even do this tomorrow, in all honesty, because I predict if the market doesn't go down tomorrow, I'm almost guaranteeing by Tuesday it's going down. So when I look at it right now, I would put a call credit spread of probably 300 and 305 or 304 as my two calls. So I'm going to be selling one and buying the other. That way I can collect a credit. And all I'm saying is my break even would probably be around 301, 302, somewhere around there. So as long as SPY would stay below 301 to 302, whatever the break even is, whatever trading platform you're using will tell you what your break even is. But as long as the stock stays below that price and even moves in your favor a little bit, that's what you want, of course. You want the stock to go down. You're taking a short position, essentially. As long as the stock stays below that and starts to move in your favor, it doesn't have to just nosedive, but as long as it moves just a little bit in your favor, you'll start to collect profit on that position. And those are way, way, way higher success rate for me. Almost every single one that I've done has been successful. I think I've only had this year, I can think of 2 losers off the top of my head. One of them was stupid. I kind of gambled on it a little bit. I had my strikes way too close to being in the money, and it was a bad trade. But the other one, I just couldn't predict it. It started shooting up when I thought it was going to stay down, and I lost like $20 or $30 on that trade. But overall, I mean, I have a super high success rate. I think when you even go to place the trade, it'll tell you like this trade has a 75 or 85, 70% chance of profit, and I try to stay above 70% on most of those trades. Let's see. Okay, so you got 2 questions there, so I'll just answer them both. So the first one with doing the scalping, I had consistency doing it, but when they lost big. Now, take with a grain of salt, I was using Robinhood, which is a total shit platform, which is being exposed now for what it is. It's a total shit platform. I don't suggest any of you guys use Robinhood anymore. But back then, man, what was this? This was about a year ago, actually now. Just over a year ago, back in like April, I think, of last year was when I was really doing that consistently. And I mean, I was having consistent like 180, 50. Because what I would do is I would go out of the money to the point where the contracts were like $25 to $50 each, and then I would load up on them with like 20 to 30 contracts. And then since I was on Robinhood where there was no commissions or anything, I would just take like a 2-point move, $2 move, or 2-cent move if you're talking in the contract terms. But I would just take like a $2 to $6 move, multiply that times 20 to 30 contracts, and you're talking hundreds of dollars of profit. And I would just do that with my 3-day trades 3 days a week, and I was getting hundreds. I think my best week was somewhere around $1,500 doing that. But the thing is it's like, what really did it for me, which you can still be profitable doing this, it's just one of those things where when you get burned how I got burned, you get burned, it's that sensation where you're like, I'm not doing that shit no more. Because my thing was, I got too cocky doing it. I started out keeping it small. I was doing 10 contracts, 20 contracts, and the contract size doesn't matter. It's the position of the account that is where I got too cocky. I had like a $4,000 account at that time that I was trading with. $4,000 account, and I had to use the money for our baby stuff and all that stuff. But I had a $4,000 account, and that I built up. I did it something like this almost, like just started out with like $1,500 to $2,500 and built it up relatively quickly, just keeping the position small. So again, say I had $2,000 in there or $3,000 in there, I was only using about $800 to $1,200 per trade. But then I got cocky and I was like, man, I'm doing so well right now. What if I just went all in on my trades? And it went good until it didn't go good. And like literally I had about 2 or 3 good trades doing it for about a week, and then I came in and I remember I was actually at work when it happened. The market started out the day, it just dropped, and there was like no reason for it, no news, no nothing, and we're showing signs of just massively oversold short term. So I was like, awesome, great scalp opportunity, went all in. Then it kept dropping. And then there ended up, I don't remember what the news was that day, but there ended up being some more news that came out. I think it was like a Fed meeting day. I don't remember. But we just kept dropping. And I was like, shit, I'm down $200. Shit, I'm down $400. And it just kept dropping. And I got caught catching a falling knife, essentially. So, again, you can make profit doing that for sure. You're not going to make huge profits or anything. I wouldn't expect nothing consistently, but if you want to do it like once a week or something, keeping it super small, it is gambling though, and I don't like to gamble. Just calling it for what it is. It's a gamble, essentially. It's not even just speculating. I mean, it's straight up gambling. Like, you're essentially saying, you know what, I think we're super overextended here to the down, because this is about the move we'd play right here, actually. You see, we had super oversold. We'd buy our contracts down here. We would ride it up. And then as soon as we had a red candle, we'd sell. And like that move right there, that is a huge move on those short-term options. That probably would have been roughly a 10-cent move per contract. If we had a 30 contract position, 10 cents times 30, that's $10 times 30. That'd probably be roughly ballpark $300 profit right there, depending on your contract size, your amount of money you got put in, of course. So, I mean, it's one of those things, like I said, it was working till it wasn't working, and I will probably never do it again. I mean, never say never, of course, but it's just one of those things. You don't want to play with snakes at the end of the day. But it was fun. I'll say that. I mean, it's like going to a casino, right? You're gambling at the end of the day. So, and that's like that. I mean, I'm glad that you actually brought that up, because I got to explain just another mistake, essentially, that I don't want other people to make. Like I mentioned, it can be profitable. Don't look at it as your main source of like income or to grow your account. And if you're gonna try it, like I said, keep it super small. If I had kept it small, I would, who knows, I might even still be doing that today if I kept that position small. Because say I had that position even just half the size that it was, instead of losing what ended up being, honestly, I think it was like an $800 loss on that trade. Instead of it being 800, it would have been like 400. Or if I kept even smaller, maybe even 200. So it would have still hurt, but it wouldn't hurt me so bad to where I was just scarred and like, you know what, never again am I going to do that type of trading style. So yeah, I mean, me personally, I learned my lessons on stuff like that, and I'm probably just never going to do it again. and how far out of the money with my credit spreads. So like I mentioned a second ago, like say hypothetically if the market was open right now, we opened at 291 on SPY, I would probably go somewhere around 300, maybe even 305. It all depends on what the percentage chance of profit is. A lot of, I don't know if Tasty Trade, I don't know if TD Ameritrade has the same setup as Tasty works. I didn't even pay attention whenever I did my one credit spread I've done on here so far. But I know like with Tasty Works, who I used to use the most, especially for options, they would literally tell you your potential, like your percentage chance of profit is roughly X percent. And I would just shoot for somewhere around 70%. Rarely would I go under 70. I liked it between 70 to 80% chance of profit. So chances are I'd probably have to go up closer to 305. But what I'm looking for is like for my account size of $1,500 to $200 to $2,000 portfolio, I'm looking for a trade that's less than $400 that can give me a potential return of a minimum of 15 to 20%. So on a $400 trade, I would be looking essentially for, let's just say 15 or let's say 15%. That'd be what a max profit of roughly $60, something like that. And then so since my max profit potential is $60, I would want to get half of that at the minimum. So if the max profit's 15%, I'm probably looking for somewhere around 7 to 8%. So say I got 8% on the $400 trade, that'd be roughly $8 times 4, $32 profit, right? Yeah, somewhere around $32 of profit. That's just my rule of thumb. Like I said, it's what works for me the best. And those trades are usually overnighters. I might have to hold them for a couple days at the most, but usually they're something I place at the end of the day. Or if I feel the market is just ridiculously gone high or ridiculously gone low. Usually, just from my experience, it's more so when it goes way too high. I tend to do more call credit spreads than put credit spreads, just because when it's going down, it tends to carry the momentum for a while. Where with going up, we tend to have the pullbacks are almost predictable. Not always, of course, but they tend to be pretty predictable in the short term. So I tend to do more of call credit spreads personally. And like I said, I usually go from an SPY standpoint, a minimum of $5 to $10 out of the money, with about a $4 to $5 wide spread. So say I went up to 305, my upside call would be somewhere around 308 to 310, somewhere in that range, $3 to $5 usually. And that usually gives us the best chance of profit. And like I said, the profit is usually somewhere around a minimum of 5% to a maximum of about, I've had some around 20%. But that's when the trade works perfectly. It's 20%. Usually it's somewhere around 6 to 8% in all honesty, which is a pretty good trade. I mean, I'll take that all day for sure. And hopefully our stream has been doing okay. I haven't checked on it in a while. Wow, we've already been on for almost an hour. But yeah, if that's it for all of our questions, and if you guys don't have any stocks or anything you want me to take a look at, then I guess, let me see. Have you tried trading for a prop firm? No, I haven't. I mean, honestly, like, so I got a lot. I don't know how long like you've been with my channel or if you're in our chat or anything, Philip. But like, so I got a lot of stuff going on. Honestly, like I'm in the process of in the next year. So we just had a baby less than a year ago. That's obviously super expensive and life changing. Our first one, all that good stuff. We got a wedding that's gonna be coming up in the next year, pending on Corona BS. I'm going to be starting a business, like a actual, like not anything to do with internet or anything, but like an actual business that I will tell you guys at some point in the future. I just don't want to risk my job, anything like that, because I never know who's watching at the end of the day. But I will be starting a business here in less than a year as well. So I'm saving up for that. We're buying a house in the next year. I mean, we got a lot of big ticket, big money. I have to buy a truck. There's a lot of big ticket, big money item things that are going to have to be done in the next year. So just what I'm doing essentially is I was like, you know what, I'm going to give myself $1,500. If I burn through it, I burn through it. If I can consistently build it and do so for at least a few months, maybe I'll start drizzling in a couple $100 a month, just a little bit. Nothing that's really going to alter our financial future or anything like that, but just like you said, kind of start to scale it up a little bit more. Start trading the multiple contracts of futures, all of that good stuff. And then that kind of goes hand in hand with your question about trading for a prop firm. I don't have the time. I mean, I love doing this. Like, honestly, this is probably like a passion, a true passion of mine. Like, I don't know. There's just something about the markets. Like, this is something that I actually wait. Like, when it's Friday, I hate Fridays. I mean, I love them because I love being off from my job and whatnot, obviously. But, like, I hate when the bell rings Friday because I'm like, damn it, we got to wait 48 hours or rough whatever it is till 5 p.m. on Sunday, 5 p.m. Central Time. I'm like, man, now we got to wait X amount of days, hours until the market opens back up again. Like, this is definitely for sure, like, my passion. Hopefully, maybe someday in the future, once, like, my business starts to take off and it's kind of running on autopilot, so to speak, where I've got, where I'm pretty much just managing it versus going out and building it up and all that stuff, then I can focus a lot more on this and start to really, really scale this up and maybe even sell that other business at some point in the coming years. We're talking years down the road at this point, but maybe even sell that business and then really go all in on this and just explode it. But I mean, I'm young. I mean, I'm not even 23 yet. I'll be 23 in just over a month. So I mean, it's not like time is of the essence. I'm trying to stay very patient. I've learned a lot about being patient over the last year or so, and it is very, very, very difficult sometimes to stay patient, but I notice every time I try to skip a step or something or try to go too quickly at something, it tends to bite me in the ass, especially when it comes to this trading stuff. So I'm fine with just slow and steady. Just slow and steady always wins the race at the end of the day. Like I said, I mean, I'm up 20% in the last 5 weeks. Again, do I think by any means that I'm going to keep that up over a year or anything like that? No, absolutely not. I mean, honestly, I had a stream a little bit ago where I said if you can even do 0.5%, not even considering the like we mentioned a little bit ago, the what do you call it? The compound effect. If you don't even consider the compound effect and say you just manage to do 0.5% average per week over, 0.5% per week over 52 weeks, not including any compounding interest in there, you're going to do 26% on your portfolio. That's not bad. I mean, $100,000 account, you're talking about 26 grand on the week. So, I mean, that's awesome stuff. And like I said, my goal personally is 2% a week. It's a hefty goal for a 52-week period. 52 weeks, again, not including compound interest, you're talking about 104% return. So that's a hefty goal. That is my goal. Because trading at the end of the day, you got to think, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, the S&P 500 only does 10 to 12%. And what makes you think you're going to do that? Like, dude, trading is much more different than investing. If I was like investing, it'd be a totally different story that we'd be talking about right now. I'd be talking about my monthly goal, my quarterly goal versus my week-to-week goal. When we're traders, we're looking at week-to-week. We're not looking at, oh, my quarterly goal for this quarter is 6%. Like, no, we're thinking week to week, day to day, what we're needing. So it's a different ball game for sure. I thought somebody might have been here already. Oh, I appreciate it, Philip. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. And I'm glad that you found a passion with this too. Yeah, and that's the thing with these markets. And how's it going there, Chase, by the way? That's the thing with these markets. It's like, man, if you don't love it, it's not gonna be. It's gonna eat you alive. Like, you gotta have passion for this stuff, or it's just gonna eat you alive. Money has no feelings whatsoever. Yeah. Oh yeah, you got a 1 year old. Yeah, ours are pretty close to them. Mine is she'll be 9 months old in less than a week already. Man, time flies. But yeah, that's definitely right, man. I mean, shit. I mean, just I don't even think it's so much the kid teaching me patience as much as the pregnancy. That's a whole different aspect. I don't want to get myself in trouble talking about the pregnancy, but man, just from day one of pregnancy all the way up till now, yeah, I mean it's been a crazy ride for sure, man. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about then, for sure. So yeah, I mean it's taught me, yeah, patience is by, if there was one word to describe the last year for me, it's patience. Patience is everything. Not even just with these markets, not just with business, not just with your finances, but with life in general, man. Patience, patience, patience on everything. And it was so tough for me because I just, how I grew up, how it just runs in my blood. I don't know. We are quick to just snap at any moment, speak our mind, so to speak. And I've definitely learned to tame the tongue a little bit. Still say what I feel needs to be said, but in a much softer, lighter, I call it the hippie tone, essentially. but but yeah, well, yeah. I mean, like I said though, I this the whole point, like these weekly, like middle of the week streams, is just to kind of give all of you guys an update, and kind of just tell all the newer guys that are tuning in for the first time, because we've really been growing lately. We're almost up to like 1,000 subs now. Last I checked, we're at like 980 or something this morning, and continuing to just add on to that day by day. So I don't try to seem repetitive when I keep harping on this idea of thinking about your account in terms of percentages, setting realistic goals, all that stuff. It's just, man, I made so much mistakes early on. I still make mistakes today, but I've really limited them over the last few months, and I'm reaping the benefit of it now. And I can't stress enough to the new guy, the new trader who's really just getting in for the first time. Like I said, paper trade your first few weeks at the minimum, no matter what you're trading. If it's a new stock, a new trading strategy, futures, heaven forbid, but Bitcoin. I know we got some Bitcoin people in here, but no matter what you're going to be trading, if there's a possible way to paper trade it, which is just fake trading essentially, do that first. Put your thoughts on paper essentially. That's the whole point of paper trading. If you see something that kind of like seems like a possible new way of trading style or new tool for you to use, and just paper trade it for a few weeks, proven concept essentially, and then put the test to work with your account. Keep it small, and be quick to cover profits and be quick to cut the losses too, of course. That's all I can really stress the most. Like I said, just continue to set realistic goals. Don't try to think you're gonna just multiply your account by 2x, 4x, 5x every couple weeks, because you'll just end up burning through your account like most traders do. There's a reason that only about 5% of traders are successful, 5 out of 100. Just keep that in perspective. If you want to be that 5 out of 100 that are profitable, you got to do the opposite of what the other 95 are doing. It's not to say to not listen to anybody who's talking about stocks, but just definitely keep up with like other guys that are actually straightforward with you. I'm not saying necessarily that like you should, definitely do not emulate me. I cannot stress enough. Don't hop in Discord thinking you're just going to copy my trades. I do not want you guys doing that whatsoever. I'm 99% positive no one in there is doing that anyways, but definitely don't hop in there trying to do that, because besides, I don't tell you guys the trades like second by second. I tell you guys usually minutes later. So don't be that guy. Don't try to go around copying any traders or any gurus, because we're all learning at the end of the day. You got to find what works for you. Set realistic expectations. Learn from every learn from every losing trade, and just continue to build that account over the span of your trading career. But if we have no more questions or anything, I will go ahead and wrap the stream up. See, we got 3 of you tuning in. It looks like the stream health and everything's doing all right for you guys. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the stream. If you did, definitely make sure to smash the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And if you're new to the channel and tuning in either live right now or once the video uploads, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button below. Hit the bell icon right beside it. That way you'll be notified every time we go live or upload another video. We probably won't do one tomorrow unless if we just have some sort of crazy day that I'm just like, man, I gotta hop on. But more than likely we won't do one tomorrow. We will have our Sunday stock talk that we have every Sunday, usually between 5 p.m. Central to 8 p.m. Central. Just depends on what's going on Sunday for me, but no later than 8 p.m. Central time we will be going live again and just breaking down the market for the upcoming week. So we'd love to have you there for that stream, and if you have any stocks or anything, definitely have them ready for the chat box there on Sunday. That way I can break them down for you. And then lastly, like I said, we have the Discord group chat, which is down in the description box below. We now have 170 of you in there, so it's awesome to communicate with you guys more and more on a day-to-day basis. But until next time, guys, keep on going out there, making your profits, covering your profits, achieving your financial freedom this year. And I will see you guys, like I said, probably not tomorrow, but for sure on Sunday. But until then, take it easy, guys.